right, guys. Looks like Francis has already exposed what it is he's got up his sleeves. We're over at his Facebook page, and as predicted, yeah, all kinds of speculation about the health of Benedict XVI. Headline, currently in grave health despite Vatican denials, blah, blah, blah. I'll just put the link down below. This Joel will, but it's exactly what we thought would happen, so it's speculation now. They may even have a mock funeral for him, but just know that Pope Benedict cannot die. He belongs to God, and so they can try what they like, but you know, it's all going to be a hoax as far as their end goes. Now, more about Francis, of course, as Argentina. Thank you, Andrew, for the...
Well, let's go back in history about that. We've got the Falklands War, which is, was 1982, and the woman behind that changed the distance, a 200 nautical mile distance out from the Falklands, that any ship from any nation, if they sailed within that, and I think they announced it through the Swiss embassy in Buenos Aires, so that the Argentinians would know not to go within 200 nautical miles. However, they changed their mind on that. And the reason they did that is they were looking to sink the ship to teach the Argentinians a lesson. And this is the Belgrado. And on board, there were 500 young men, and they all died when the British submarine sent out two of the latest torpedoes, which were fly-by-wire, if you like. They trailed these long wires behind them and they could steer them from the submarine, and they sunk them. But they were way outside the 200 nautical mile limit. But the distance to the South Pole indicates that they would, it's blackness and sink into the depths. So because they have used the concordance like I used it, when they have the opportunity to kill someone or something, or a ship like this, they'll do it at a longitude and latitude or a time that will give them the sick gratification of having killed all those people. Now remember, 500 is a word adequate. So at that time, the missiles that were purchased off the French was a deal by a priest who turns out today to be Francis the Pope. He made a deal with the French to buy $200 million worth of Exocet missiles. And the British, of course, they're very aware of what the French can do with their missiles. So it was Prince Andrew who was down there flying a helicopter. So when a missile would be coming in, they'd have the helicopter hovering down at the same level as the ship. And then as the missile got within distance of striking the boat, he would take it up high, several hundred feet, and the missile would start to raise up and follow that particular object and go over the top of the ships. Now, they did sink a few of the British ships, and they caught them unawares, but they soon figured that out. Now, Margaret Thatcher was behind all that, and she's the one that changed the Admiralty's position on the distance that, and didn't bother to tell the Argentinians to sink the Belgrado. And of course, they just murdered her, and because she was a pretty evil woman, don't worry about that. But to be able to do something like that is pretty terrible. But this is what it's all about. So they're getting even. Now, how they're getting even is they're going to bring on a nuclear war because they're stupid. Argentinian Pope is a very stupid man. And the Jews are everywhere. And they are trying to push for world war. And we've got to go back to what Hitler said, that unless the Jews are stopped, they would leave the earth a lifeless orb floating in the ether of space. And of course, he was quite right. And they're trying to bring on this nuclear war with Iran. Now, once it kicks off, that's it, all nations be involved. And the nuclear fallout will stay primarily in the Northern Hemisphere, leaving the Southern Hemisphere free. And that is why Australia has been set up as a focal point where the Olympic Games in the year 2000, the Australian public was fooled into supplying money for the Olympic Games, and they've revamped everything. So under the new Parliament House, it's huge. And ASIO agents have informed a friend of mine while they were pissed at a party that they have enough power underneath the Australian Capital Territory government building to run the world. And that's what it's all about. Pine Gap's involved and so forth. So the Jews are trying to bring off a nuclear war, and they're using this idiot to pull it off. Well, this brings us to Revelation 17:11. And 17:11 is all about the 7 kings. Now, once a city became, this is the Vatican, became a nation, which it did under an agreement with the Italian government, whoever is the pontiff becomes the king. So they had 7 kings, and then for 84 years, this is from February the 11th, 1929, 84 years later, which is Martial in English Gematria, and it's also Emmanuel, the Emmanuel prophecy, which is Emmanuel is found in Matthew 1:23, which has a value of 8880. Anyone who's following us would know what that's about. It pinpoints myself as being the king genetically. So he's not interested in the Queen or Prince Charles or anything like that. What he's interested in is killing off all of Europe, because I'm the king of all of Europe. Every nation I'm the king, also Italy. So this is what the whole game's about. It's the make war with the Lamb in the book of Revelation. And of course, as there was a lightning strike at 5:55 p.m, for the first time in history, the Vatican was struck with lightning, just after Pope Benedict the 16th made the announcement he was retiring because he was feeling weak and ill health. This closed down the 7 kings in that prophecy of 1711. You want to read it now?
And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. That just means Benedict, by the time he resigned, feeling unwell, sickened by the filth in the church, he retires, drew away. He is the one remaining alive, the 7th, and he goes into his own perdition, which means loss and destruction. It's not an all-consuming hell, etc. All of you who have experienced the loss of loved ones or your health, whatever, sorrow, as he was experiencing, you've gone into perdition.
Now, I should also say that the beast is, of course, the church, and like anything that can be regarded as being a beast, it does evil. On the other hand, you put a good man in charge of it, it's not doing evil, so therefore it's no longer the beast. However, you look at the history of the church, and there's always been evil men. That's, over time, has dominated against the good men. And there's been some terrible things the church has done. So this is the beast, there's no doubt about that. It's in charge today of 1.2 billion people. I've also given the Vatican III to the Pope, Benedict, and he will become Petrus Romanus. I've already renamed him as Peter, because Peter started the church, that's where it started, and that's where it ends. And it will be a perpetual church from that point onwards, running under no longer the beast. It will be destroyed, it will be run under righteousness under my rule. And with the Pope Peter, Petrus Romanus, has been the 111th Pope, Malachite prophecy. Same man, and therefore he's still the 111th Pope. Because the illegal move by the Jews backing Francis is illegal. They already knew, the conclave knew that we was already back. So
it's an illegitimate conclave.
It's illegitimate.
It's all
so they've got this fool who is basically a moron. And he's a man, as I say, getting even with England and the Lamb in particular, which is my kingdom, which is all the world, basically. And he thinks it's only Europe. Well, that's fine, he can think that. But Argentina is mine too, and so is all the other countries.
All
south.
nations.
Pedro Fernandez de Queiroz prophecy. 16